Hi everyone, welcome to the channel, and in this video we are going to see the network services 2, this lab in TryHackMe, and it has a number of really interesting labs of NFS, SMTP, MySQL, and I've already completed it, but I'm just going to reset my progress. Now it is reset. So let's start. I've opened my Kali Linux machine, already connected to the VPN, and as you can see I'm in the downloads directory. So let's begin. So hello and welcome. This room is first network services. You can actually complete that first network services room in TryHackMe, but this room is really interesting, so that's why I wanted to perform this lab. You can connect to the OpenVPN and complete this task. Then you can go to the next one, which is understanding NFS. So NFS is a network file system and allows a system to share its directories and files over a network, right? You will have some basic questions. You can study through all of this. You have more information listed here. So just going to answer these questions. NFS stands for network file system. So we're just going to submit it. This is the answer for the first one. Then what process allows NFS client to interact with the remote directory as though it was a physical device, right? So we can go through hint, but if we go above, we will see that what process, right? So for the process we can actually find here. Okay, so the process here, if you study a bit, then it says it does this by mounting all or a portion of a file system onto the server. So mounting is that process through which you can you allow NFS client to interact with the remote directory. So mounting will be the process. And if we go to the hint also, what does your operating system do to access a physical drive, right? It's mounting. We mount a physical drive to a system, then we can access that. So like a local directory, C, D, E, anyone. Next question is, what does NFS use to represent files and directory on the server? So NFS, we can always go back to our interesting read here. Okay, so if you go to this line, the server checks if the user has permission to mount whatever directory has been requested. It will then return a file handler, right, which uniquely identifies each file and directory on the server. So this answer will be file handler. The next thing is, what protocol does NFS use to communicate between the server and client? So if we go back, we can see RPC call is placed on the server, right? So we can just go back and we can type RPC. The next question is, sorry for the background noise, what two pieces of user data does the NFS server take as a parameter for controlling user permission? Parameter 1 and parameter 2. So two pieces of user data. If we go back, two pieces of user data, really here is the file handler is not a user data. The name of the file is not a user data, but users user ID and users group ID are user data. So user ID and group ID will be the answer. The next thing is, can a Windows NFS server share file with a Linux client? Yes, it can actually. And can a Linux NFS? Yeah. With the Mac OS? Yes, it can. Actually, NFS is kind of a cross-platform protocol. Then the last question is, what is the latest version of NFS released in 2016 but is still up to date as of 2020? This will require external research. So we can just go to NFS versions wiki, and if we go, not need for speed, it's network file system. Yeah. So NFS version 2, version 3, version 4, right? If you see here, our question was, it was released in 2016 but is still up to date as of 2020. So 2016, if you see here, NFS version 4.2 was published on November 2016, and the answer will be NFS version 4.2. Answer is correct. First task completed. Really simple. You just need to understand how NFS works. You can watch some of the YouTube videos or some of the other videos, or you can, if you like reading blogs and all, then you can go through this Oracle docs. It is really good. And yeah, let's move on to enumerating NFS. Now, first of all, start the machine because it will take a minute or so. And here we will see that what is the process we are going to use. So in enumeration, a process which establishes an active connection to the target host to discover potential attack vectors. The requirement is the first is a key to interacting with NFS share is from your local machine is NFS common. So if you haven't installed this package on your local machine, you can go in Kali, you can do apt get install NFS common, and you can install this machine. Or if you are using Ubuntu, then you can through this also you can do the same process, sudo apt get install NFS common. And yeah, so this here the command is also NFS sudo apt install NFS common, although it comes with the pre-installed with most of the Linux distributions. So first of all, we are going to do a port scan. Then after port scan, it suggests using -a and -p tags over here. So let's see. I'm just going to use -p. I think -a is not required because it will take a lot of time. It will consume a lot of time. So we can just go through it. We can copy this 10.10.54.206 and we can, simple nmap -p- and then our IP address, right? So nmap is starting and it will take a lot of time to do it. So I'm just going to skip to the details. So it will take a lot of time. So I'm just going to stop this, and to save time, I'm just going to show you the thing which I did before, like the output of the nmap scan. So in this nmap scan, you can see we have port number 22 open, 111 open, and 2049 open, which is NFS, and other ports are open. So total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Total 7 ports are open here. So we can go back to the machine and we can answer this question like conduct a port scan and how many ports are open. So total ports are actually 7. Which port contains the service we are looking to enumerate? So we are just going to go back to the this output, and we can see that port number 2049 is running NFS. So we are going to enumerate port number 2049. So as you can see, the first step is to scan through all the ports. Now use this command to list the NFS share. What is the name of visible share? So we are going to use this command now to actually show. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm just going to go back to the my terminal, and then the IP address of the machine, which is 10.10.54.206. Yeah, this command is usually showing us the home directory, and it is exporting the list of, the show mount is exporting the list of all the directories. So there is a home directory. We are going to go back, and the directory is /home. The next thing is time to mount the share to our local machine. So now we are going to mount this /home to our local machine. To mount that, we can make a temporary directory with mkdir on this temporary folder, obviously, so that it don't get lost in between. So I'm first going to make a directory temp mount. So we have created a directory inside the temp folder, which is called mount, and now we are going to use the mount command to mount the NFS share to our local machine. If you go above, here is the mount command. We don't need to use sudo as already we are running in as a root user. So I'm just going to Control C and yeah, Control V. So our NFS IP is 10.10.54.206 and our share is home. We are going to mount this on temp/mount with a no lock command, and let's wait for a couple of seconds. Okay, it's completed. I think the directory is mounted, so we can list all the files inside the directory. Okay, inside the temp/mount, this is the name of the folder, which is cappuccino. Okay, nice. So if we go back here, it says change the directory to where you mounted the share and what is the name of the folder inside. So it's cappuccino. We can do it without changing the directory with the ls command. I'm just going to copy this and just going to paste this here. Answer is correct. Look, take a look inside a directory and look at the files. We are inside a user's home directory. So now this is a user, right? Cappuccino is a user inside this 10.10.54.206. So I'm just going to go inside his folder, and ls doesn't give us anything. lsla, okay, it lists some file which also contains, if you closely look at this, .ssh is here, right? So it can contain actually users ssh keys. So let's look into it. cd.ssh, yeah, lsla, yeah, we have users private key actually, which is IDs -RSA. This is users public key. So this can be really important. We can go inside this folder with this key. So I think we are going to do that. Interesting. Let's do a bit of research. Which folder contains a key? So .ssh folders contain a key here. Which of the keys are most useful to us? So most useful key is this ID _ RSA, right? So yeah, the answer is correct. Now it's saying copy the file to a different location in your local machine and change the permission to 600 using chmod 600 file. To root/downloads. Right, so it is copied into our download folder. I'm just going to clear the screen so that you can see it better. So it is copied now. So now we are going back to the cd that download folder actually, root.download, download, and here we can see ID RSA, actually this is, and we are going to give this permission chmod 400 ID RSA. No, not 400 actually, sorry, 600. Yeah, and we can clear the screen. Now if we go back, yeah, we have copied. Now can we log into the machine using this? So let's see, can we log into the machine using this? So ssh our key file ID RSA, then our username is cappuccino, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Yeah, Control C actually. @IP address 206. Yes, we're going to accept that. Yeah, we are logged into the machine now. Cappuccino @polonfs. So yeah, we are inside the machine now with the user's permission. We'll press Y. So now we have enumerated to the machine and we are inside the machine. Now we are going to see how to exploit the machine actually. To exploit the machine, we are going to use SUID bitset. Means that the file or files can be run with the permission of the file's owner/group. In this case, as the super user, we can leverage this to get a shell with these privileges. First of all, need to change directory to the mount point where NFS share should be still mounted, and then into user's home directory. So let's go there to the user's home directory actually. I'm opening up a new tab for doing that. So cd temp/mount/cappuccino. We are inside the user's directory. Download the bash executable to your downloads directory, then use copy that bash executable to the NFS share. Copied bash shell must be owned by a root user. You can set this by sudo chown root bash. You need to download actually an exploit. You can download it from here, and please remember that don't download it via a wget command from this GitHub repository. Download it from the GUI itself and save it into your download folder or any other folder in your Kali Linux. So don't use wget because your file will convert to HTML code and it will not work. You have to manually download it and copy it to the downloads folder. I have already done that. If you go to my root/downloads, here you can see this bash. I've already done that. So, and I think this bash also has appropriate permissions. So bash should have these permission rw sr srx, right? Now if we go back, so you can give that permission with chmod plus s and then bash. Okay, so you can do that, sudo chown root bash. So I have already completed that. I have done that. We have to give an plus s here in place of the permission. So you can follow these commands, then do a sanity check. It should have srx. So my file is already have srx, this permission. Your file should also have this permission. So I'm just going to clear the screen. So I have the appropriate file and appropriate permission to that file. Now we have how does this permission look like? So we have to actually copy the permission. So copy this from here and paste it here. The permissions are correct. Now SSH into machine and list the directory. So what we are going to do here, we are simply going to copy this executable. Let's copy this. Let's move that file into the folder /root/download bash to /temp/mount/cappuccino and ls. The bash is here, bash -p. Okay, now it ran. I don't know why it happened like while copying it. So you can use the move command to actually move that file to the cappuccino, this machine, and then run /bash space -p. And if I type who am I, so I am the root user right now actually. So I'm just going to clear my screen inside the root, and I'm just going to go to the root directory actually, ls, and we have root.txt. This is your flag. You can do a cat command and you can find the flag for this particular room. So yeah, this room is completed. Now we are going to move to the SMTP room. We are going to do this in the next video because it is already, I think it's been a long video. So let's do this SMTP enumeration in the next video, in part 2 of the series. So thanks for watching and keep hacking and take care. Bye.